Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. This is Fish Vlog number 79, and I wanted to start off with this clip today because the male bat at this point had built a lovely bubble nest. This was just after the female had jumped out of her containment system and was in the tank with him. He was in there all morning with him, so I hoped that there would be some eggs in there, and I wanted to get a nice close-up of it to see if I could spot anything. But as it turns out, it was not to be the case. There are no eggs in there, and as you can see, he was really rough on her. There's going to be still coming up here shortly, and you can see she got really beaten up, and she definitely has some internal damage because you can see the scales are sticking up a little bit, which usually means she's having difficulty regulating her osmotic pressure inside her tissues. It's not dropsy per se, but it's definitely something along those lines, and it is up to her at this point. If she's tough enough, she'll survive. I've put her in a really healthy, clean aquarium, and the water's perfect and just doesn't have anyone in there, feeding her well, and we'll see how she does. Hopefully she'll pull through, but it's hard to say. And I think this is going to be the end of my attempts for breeding bettas at the moment because it is just a personal project. It has nothing to do with the business, and I can't really justify the expense. Bettas are not cheap. Good quality ones like these are $20 or $30 a piece here, and like I said, I just can't really justify it at the moment. So this is on pause. We will definitely try this again sometime in the near future, hopefully. So there he is. He's the one that did the deed. Lovely fish. And I had thought at the time that he wasn't really being over rough with them. It was just courtship behavior. Certainly not as bad as the other male was. And you see the bubble nest is all gone. This is actually maturing really quite nicely, and I think I'm going to repurpose this tank for breeding something else, possibly zebra danios. I'm going to let this percolate for a little while. He's going to stay in there. And then I'll find something else for it because it's a nice tank space and I definitely want to make use of it. So he'll go in with some other fish and we'll see again in the future. He's young, so he may get to try again. This is the filter where I was growing out the Pennywort, and you can see in that older leaf, the one on the right, there's a couple of scuds in there, and they're chewing on it and making some holes. It is an older leaf, so not really important, and the overall plant is actually doing quite well. But I am kind of hoping that it's going to start sending shoots and leaves above the surface of the water, and that way get out of the reach of those guys. As you can see, it's growing fine. There's lots of new leaves, so it's not really a big deal. It was just something I noticed, and I thought I'd pass on to you guys. Overall, this filter is doing really well. I still need to do two things. First off, I want to start by adding a little bit more bubble into this, getting a little bit more current flowing through it, just to make it a little bit more humid, even though I suspect it's humid enough. But then the other thing I need to do, of course, is to cut down the light that's in there, because this is a lot less light, and you can see how well this plant's growing. This Java Fern started off so small. I had intended on showing you a little bit of it earlier on, but I couldn't find the clip. And as you can see, I'm still plagued by duckweed. It seems to always come back, and the hornwort here is doing a little too well, so I'm going to have to definitely prune that back. This is my peace lily, and it's starting to send up more and more shoots. I'm very happy with this. This is actually doing really, really well. I just need to get to the rest of this tank because there's lots and lots of plants in here. But I do want to get a lot more immersed plants, and of course I want to get a lot more Java Fern up on those branches. I can't remember now how many times I've told you that. I will actually get to it. It just gets to the point where there's just so many things, so many projects on the go that I just can't seem to get to it all anymore. Anyway, I will get there, and we will see what it looks like in the long run. This tank is doing very, very well. I'm very happy with it. Those two filters, the big brother and the little brother, easily maintain this tank to a nice crystal clear water, as you can see here. I have pretty much pulled out all of the angels that I'm going to pull out at this point. I will probably keep the rest of them until they grow up a little bit more. There's obviously more work to do in this as far as aquascaping goes. And again, I also want to do, Aaron, something with your filter. After it had floated, I had left it there because I wanted to do some other stuff with it. But I, again, just haven't got to it yet. As you can see here, these are really starting to grow up nicely, so I'm very happy with that. And there are, like I said, there's lots of stuff I want to do with this. The angels are going to stay up in here. I think there's probably a few guppies I want to pull out as well. But other than that, it's pretty much where I want it, except, that. I'll get to that. That will get aquascape properly, and also give the fish a lot more room. This is my pared down what's left of the Bosmany Rainbows. I've gotten rid of a bunch of others. This is the group that I think I'm going to keep. One thing I've noticed about breeding fish in general is the first generation, like the ones that you get, the parents, they're not as accustomed to your style of feeding and everything else. But as the generation progresses, they get more and more accustomed to it, and they do a lot better. And I definitely want to keep a breeding group of those, even though they take forever to grow. And as you see, all the plants are doing very well. I want to show you a little clip of the land moss. Even though I have no clue what I'm going to do with it, it is continuing. It is thriving, and I will find something for it at some point in time. The large U-shaped paludarium that I've been working on is doing really quite well, but again, it's not quite at the stage yet where I can put that moss in it. This is the high humidity planter for the deep bed UGG, and is starting to send up a lot more leaves as well. I mean, those filters are really good. And as you can see just by looking at this tank, they keep everything really happy and healthy. Nothing I would ever change about how those work. And I am going to have to find room for these guys. The Borlei are not at that point yet, but fairly soon I'm going to need to have some tank space for them, because they can't stay in here forever. And this is something I haven't shown a clip of in a very, very long time. This is the new version for the leak-proof canister filter, and it is run without a hiccup. The only thing that comes every now and then, I'll notice that the water level in here, you can see the crusty line where it normally stays. Sometimes it will go up a little higher, like another ½ inch or so, and then I just blow a little bit of water through the line, because sometimes a little bit of sediment and or bits of plant detritus gets into the pipe on the way back, because there's as you can see, as it goes down to the side on the left, it goes horizontal for a fair ways, and stuff can build up there because there's not a whole lot of flow. And as you can see, it really grows plants. I need to prune this back drastically. In there are a nice big school of black tetras. I'm hoping that they're actually just going to breed in there, and I'll be able to pull out some babies, but I couldn't tell you, because there's just so much going on in there. So I ended up with a clip of the big pond. Everybody's doing well in here. And as always, definitely leave me comments. Let me know what you think of everything. And thank you ever so much for your feedback on Wednesday's video about the live streams and other future projects. Even the ones where people said they don't really care for live streams, I do appreciate that as well, because it's important. I need to know what you guys think. And definitely continue giving me all kinds of hints about that sort of stuff. Hopefully for next week I'll have a better update for this, because I want to get that into a tank. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.